What's going on, YouTube? My name is Moses. Thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel. Um, this is my story of why I left the Jehovah's Witness organization. Um, Now, I wasn't born in the religion. My parents got baptized when I was about 5. They were in their early 20s and 30s. Um, Life before the religion was that of any normal childhood. Um, I remember celebrating birthdays, all the holidays. I remember going to parties, hanging out with my extended family. Life was good. But all that was soon changed after my parents got baptized. After my parents got baptized, we started going to the Kingdom Hall regularly. I believe at the time there was 3 meetings a week, and then service at the end of the week. Um, and everything was fresh. I didn't think too much of it. I remember going to regular church before my parents got baptized, so it kind of felt like the same thing. Um, but something felt different. Something felt off, and as a child, it's hard to pinpoint that. Um, and a lot of the times, um, we as children, we go with the flow. Our parents tell us to do something, um, or where to go, where to be. We do whatever our parents want us to do, and that's what it was for me. Um, I have 2 other siblings. I can't really speak for them. They grew up in the religion as well, but for me, it was just going to the meetings because my parents went to the meetings. I had no choice. Um, I was baptized around the age of 14, and it didn't really feel organic. The brother that baptized me um, kind of pushed me through it. Now that I now that I look back at it, um, it was pushed through. I was a publisher. No, I was an unbaptized publisher, then publisher, and then baptized all within 6 months. Um, it was a quick process. I didn't really have that relationship that Jehovah's Witnesses tell us that we should have with God. Um, I got baptized honestly because everyone else around me was getting baptized, and to make my parents proud. Um, I didn't get baptized for a relationship with God. Looking back, life inside the organization was hectic. Uh, I feel like my family was looked at as um, the unspiritual family. Growing up was tough. My parents got my dad got disfellowship twice, and that was tough. And if you're Jehovah's Witnesses, disfellowshipping, they go up on stage, they announce your name. So I could see why my family would get looked at as unspiritual. My dad was always messing up, getting this fellowship. Um, Towards the end, my mom got this fellowship. Uh, I never got this fellowship, but I was on a public reproof uh, twice. Um, and it was for little stuff too, little offenses, just doing regular kid stuff. I think I might have been 16 or 17 when I got on public reproof for smoking, hanging out with girls, just regular kid stuff, right? But we know when you're part of that religion, um, they say you're no part of the world. You can't have no outside contact, outside of school with friends that aren't Jehovah's Witnesses, and that never sit right. That never sat right with me growing up. I knew something was off. Um, it didn't really feel organic. Um, inside the congregation, the love that you see received from the friends, the brothers and sisters felt conditional. It never felt unconditional. Um, I love those friends still. If any brothers and sisters watching this, I still love you guys. Um, but while I was in the organization, the love that I was receiving felt conditional because they're taught to shun. They're taught to shun their friends and family. Um, if they mess up and get this fellowship, they're told they can't talk to to that person anymore. Um, so the love always felt conditional. You think if you love someone, no matter what they do, you would try to help them. You wouldn't cut them off if they made a mistake. You would try to help them. You would love them. That just wasn't the case. Um, at an early age, I remember seeing graphic things in the material that they would put out. The My Book of Bible Stories. I used to get nightmares. Some of the stuff that was in that book. Um, if you don't know anything about the Jehovah's Witnesses, they believe that the end of the world is around the corner, and that Armageddon is very close by. So they live in fear. And I remember reading some of the books that they put out in My Book of Bible Stories, the Revelation book, and some of the graphic images that I was seeing there, hellfire, people burning, um, falling in the earth, a lot of graphic stuff at a young age. And as an adult now, I look back at that and I realized that that content wasn't fit for a 5-year old. You know what I mean? Um, a lot of other churches have Sunday schools for kids, but the Jehovah's Witnesses don't. And that makes sense why um, they will put kids in Sunday school, because a lot of the stuff that is talked about in the regular service is for a more mature audience, which makes sense. But the Jehovah's Witnesses never had that. They just throw you in there with the adults. So I grew up with a lot of anxiety, thinking that the world was going to end. I remember having nightmares anytime we had a thunderstorm. Um, and I developed this fear-based mindset um, that I was going to get destroyed. Uh, it was very damaging. And if you're looking into getting in this religion and you have kids, I would do your research, think twice about it. Um, my young adult life in this religion, uh, it seemed very robotic. You know, you had meetings a couple times a week, service. Nothing was fun in the religion. Um, in the meetings, you were told to comment, um, and if you didn't comment, you were deemed as, you weren't as spiritual as other people that were commenting more, or if you didn't go out in the field ministry and knock on doors, you were deemed as spiritually weak. Um, and it didn't sit right with me, you know. Um, some of the teachings as well. Um, some of their doctrines, the 144,000, I never understood that. Um, they believe only 144,000 people go to heaven, while the rest of us are going to stay here on the paradise earth. A lot of stuff didn't make any sense. After my mom got this fellowship, we stopped going to the meetings. Like I said, I never made that experience my own. I was just going because my parents went. I got baptized because my parents wanted me to get baptized, but I never got to have that personal relationship that I wanted to with God. Um, But you know what? It was a blessing in disguise because after my mom got this fellowship, we stopped going to meetings, and 10 years passed by. My last meeting was, I want to say, in 2013, 2014. So it's been a little bit over 10 years since I've been going to meetings. I never got his fellowship. I faded. I stopped going. Um, and I started doing, all the things that I wanted to do while I was in the religion. Um, which, if you know anybody that stops being a Jehovah's Witnesses, is kind of the same thing. Um, you start doing what you want to do, and that's what I did. Um, Started wilding out, started using drugs, uh, started dating multiple women. I started having kids outside of wedlock. A lot of crazy stuff, honestly, and um, I didn't. It was never fulfilling. I didn't feel full. I thought that, you know, um, being out of the organization and being able to do whatever I want was the best thing, which it was fun in the moment, but I was never fulfilled. Um, it was only until actually late 2024 um, that I wanted to try to go back. I almost went back. Crazy thing. But something told me, I don't know what it was. Something told me to do some research on the organization. It's been so long. It's been over 10 years. Things change. So I decided to do some research. And doing research, they in that organization, they always tell you not to do any outside research and no third party research. If you want to do your research, you go on their JW website. But something told me to do some research. I did some research and um, jumped down a rabbit hole, I guess, if you want to say. Um, One of the first things that came up was the Australia Royal Commission, and it blew my mind. Um, the sexual assault that goes on in the organization, I never knew. Um, and it blew my mind because I have children, you know, um, and that's one thing I take serious. So I started to look up things on that, and I didn't believe it, at first. Like, how could Jehovah's organization have predators and um, these people within the organization? It didn't sit. I was in disbelief. I thought everything was a lie, and that's because in the organization they tell you anything negative outside of the organization is false. You know, um, and I understand why they do that now because a lot of things do go on in the organization that that gets out, and they always tell the members don't believe anything you hear outside the organization. Um, I also started reading the Bible for myself without um, the brochures they give out, the publication, the Watchtower, the Wake. I started just reading the Bible, and some of the doctrine that they believe in didn't make sense. Um, I went and got an unbiased Bible, and I started comparing um, some of the passages and some of the scriptures. Um, I started looking at the Greek and Hebrew and reading the New World Translation, and noticed that words were being added and things were being taken out. Um, so long story short, I started seeing that the organization was lying, and ultimately that it was a false religion. Um, and it was disorienting. I'm not gonna lie. Finding out that um, a lot of the doctrine was false, and that they have a lot of false prophecies, unfulfilled prophecies, like the 1975, they predict the world was going to come to an end. And that's a lot of things I didn't know. I'm still fairly young. Um, and they never mentioned any of the false predictions that they had, like the 1975. Um, I think there was a couple of other ones. The 1914, they thought the world was going to end. So it's a lot of um, wishy-washy on a doctrine, and it shocked me. I thought that was the truth. I wanted to go back, um, but it ended up not being the truth. And I'm still recovering from finding out all this information. Um, but what I believe in now is I'm a born again Christian. I believe Jesus Christ is God. I believe Jesus is God revealed in the flesh. And on this channel, I want to help XJWs, or anyone for that matter, come to Christ and come to an accurate knowledge. Um, so thanks for watching, guys.